The families of the 3 police officers whose bodies were retrieved at the Hennops River in Centurion today performed rituals at the incident spot. The Constables' remains are being transported, or rather have been transported, to Pretoria, from Pretoria to Bloemfontein. And for more on this conversation, we are now joined by Zindzi. We are now joined by Mkhulu Nsingiza, who is the CEO of the Zindzi Mandela Foundation. Mkhulu, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. And now, following that tragedy that took place at the Hennops River just last week, we've now saw this morning the families of these 3 police officers going to collect the bodies of their loved ones from the mortuary, but then headed over to the Hennops River later on, and they performed a ritual to go and collect their spirits. Just tell us more about this process and why this process is very important for some of these families.
Oh, Togos and Jobukazi. This, ritual, it's a very important ritual that, seek to unite the physical body and the spirit. They are collecting the spirit so that they go to the mortuary and unite the body and spirit, because if it's not done, that spirit will be a wandering spirit around here, lost. So therefore I'm very happy this ritual, has actually happened. They've done it the right way. That spirit, that whether it departed there or not, but the gesture, of the family performing that ritual, it then confirms everything. That's why they are carrying a branch. We call, in Nisizulu, umlahlankosi, umphafa. That is a branch which is used to transport the spirit from where the deceased, departed, to a place where they can unite both the body and the spirit.
And Mkhulu, if maybe you can just tell us the significance of going to that specific spot where we understand that they may have lost their lives. Why is it important to perform those rituals at that specific incident?
Because that is where maybe they believe, the spirit departed from the physical body. So that is where now, as they are doing it, they know because of the belief that it is still wandering around there. So the best thing to do is for them to go and communicate. Remember that even science, confirms that there's no death, but renewal. Because in the African context, we don't die, because science says you can't destroy or create energy. So therefore, energy, it's what? It's atoms. Atoms are conscious and, have got memory. That is why we are able to communicate with the departed as if they are still alive, because their spirit is still alive.
How sacred is this ceremony or this ritual that has been conducted by these families at the Hennops River?
It's very sacred because it gives closure, not only, for the family, but for the departed as well, so that their spirit, their soul doesn't remain, wandering. That is why the family, it is their duty to do this ritual so that, the departed one, is not troubled, by forever wandering and causing accident. That's why in some of the places there are always accidents where people, departed, especially those souls that have never been, collected from, that spot. So going to the real spot where the soul departed, it is, the right spot to go to communicate to that spirit, because it can hear you, because, the spirit, the language of, the spirit world, it's emotion. They can feel our emotions, that, we are communicating with them. We are requesting from them to not, be left behind. That's why the person who carries, that branch of a tree, is not allowed to communicate with anybody else during that ritual. The sooner they finish communicating with the spirit, then it is believed that the spirit then it's on that branch. So therefore, that person has got to be disciplined to only communicate when they jump a bridge or a river. It has to communicate to that spirit that don't be left behind. Continue, coming with us. So that person only is able to allow to communicate with other people once they've reached their destiny.
And looking at, these ceremonies being done, and cleansing ceremonies, to be more specific, being done after road carnages, how important is that for many families in South Africa?
It's very important, Ndlovukazi, because especially the cleansing. The cleansing happens because of the belief that, let's say, a family, a certain family has lost, the loved one. It is believed in the African sense that there is a cloud, a dark cloud that, is surrounding, that family at the time. Meaning that even those that attend the funeral, they've got to cleanse before they leave the home. So therefore, that ritual of cleansing is very important, so that when the time comes, some of them, cleanse after a month or 2 or 3. It depends on the family. So that they do a ritual of cleansing, so that a dark cloud doesn't remain with them.
All right, Mkhulu, thank you so much for your time. That's Mkhulu Nsingiza there, just speaking to us. He's the CEO of the Zindzi Mandela Foundation, also giving us some explanation in terms of what we witnessed earlier today at the Hennops River, when the 3 families of the police constables from the Free State went and collected the remains, or the mortal remains, of their loved ones.